It seemed prudent before carrying out a feasibility study to find out what a feasibility study is. There's a certain logic behind that. So let's get that job done first of all. We'll look at what a feasibility study is, at what you find out when you do one, what you discover when you carry out a feasibility study or a feasibility test, and why we're doing it. And then we'll have a look at briefly at the different feasibility tests that you actually will be carrying out. And there'll be 5 in total. Those are those 5 mini essays that I talked about in the previous video. So first of all, what does feasibility mean? Well, here's the dictionary definition, and what you're looking at really is that it's capable of being accomplished. That's the key thing. It's possible. Feasible is another word for meaning possible. Capable of being used. It'd be good if your app was capable of being used, and if it's capable of being used successfully. Over the course of this feasibility study, you will first of all need to find out, in terms of the proposed system, whether or not it meets the user requirements. The good news is you've done the user requirements. Is it an effective use of resources? Is the time and the money spent on it worthwhile? Because if not, it's not worth doing it. And is this the solution that you've proposed a cost-effective way, the most cost-effective way of solving the problem? Additionally, beyond that, you'll be looking at the legal ramifications, particularly focusing on GDPR. There'll be some other legal areas you'll need to reference and look into, but the main areas are going to be GDPR and using people's data and information. You'll think about how long, this is to do with scheduling, how long the solution will take to make, and whether or not the solution is technically possible. Is the technology there already to produce the solution that you're looking for? Because if not, it could be very difficult to make, and it could be exceptionally expensive to make. And how will your solution change the way in which people behave? In other words, what is Justin going to have to do differently? What are his clients going to have to do differently? And what impact might that have? The purpose of this feasibility test is to ensure that you are able to estimate the costs of the project and the benefits of actually doing the project, of creating this app and bringing it to market. And the feasibility test should allow you to do this with greater accuracy. You will also be determining the scope of the project. Now, the feasibility test itself is not going to solve the problem. The problem you will solve by creating the solution, and then you will do your feasibility test based on the solution that you've offered. Once you've done your feasibility analysis, you then think about what this allows you to do. And it allows you, or allows the project manager, to examine the problem in the greater context of their business. Does this work within their larger business model? Is this what they want to be doing? Is this what they want to be spending money on? I was speaking to an electrician yesterday who came and fixed a cable that I drilled through. And he was saying to me, he asked me, where did you get my number from? And I said, on the internet. And he said, I'm paying £500 a month for that service, and I'm keeping a really close eye on the amount of money that it's bringing in. And so the £75 that he got from me, and if he gets 4 or 5 jobs a day from that website, actually the £500 is small fry, it's money well spent. But if mine's the only job that he gets from that website over the course of the month, he's wasting 430 quid. So in your business as a whole, is this money well spent? And that's what you're going to be exploring and finding out, or giving Justin the ability to work out based upon the solution that you come up with. Does it make sense to actually go ahead and make this app? And don't forget, let's pare this back to basics. This is a guy who's a driving instructor. He's got one car. He's making 40, 50, 60,000 pounds a year depending upon the hours that he works. What is he going to have left over to spend on the app? Is he going to have the money to spend £100,000 on an app? No. something that would take that much out of his business would be a total waste of time. Let's look at the 3 simple questions. Firstly, how can it be done? That's your solution. Secondly, can we do it? That's what you're measuring with this feasibility test. And thirdly, should we do it? What course of action do you recommend? You will come up with a recommendation at the end of each of these tests. Is it economically viable? Is it legally possible? Is it technologically possible? How long will it take to do it? All of these tests you need to think about. Ultimately, your feasibility test allows the management to make that decision, go or no go. Are we going to make it? Are we not going to make it? Are we going to pull the trigger and spend the money, or are we going to save our money and use it for something else, or put it in the bank? So that gives you a really simple overview of what feasibility actually is.